Hi folks, it's a cold and snowy day outside, so I figured it'd be a good time to get my new deck set up, change this one out, and figured I'd just sort of have a sit and a chat with you as I go through it, just talk a little bit about how 2021 has started and where we're going with my skateboarding and stuff like that. I did initially think about trying to do this as a live video, but the equipment I have just would have made that really difficult to do. But if that's something you'd be interested in future, for like future deck setup videos, leave it in the comments below, let me know. It's definitely something that would be worth a try. So yeah, so get started. This is the Fortune 825 I've been riding for a little while. It's kind of finally ran its course. Just the tail started to really razor down, and yeah, starting to get some cracks and stuff like that. So, but I'll give you a quick sort of recap on my thoughts about this deck. I really liked it, as I struggled to get the bolts off. Yeah, really good deck. It's lasted a good little while. It was the first 825 deck that I'd ridden. So kind of since I got back into skating, I've gone through 4 different deck sizes. So when I was a kid, I used to ride 7.5, so it was the only size that I could ride. I tried a few back then. So when I first got back into skating, that's what I bought, and it's just too small. It was just way too small for me. I'm tightening that bolt rather than loosening it. I'm doing good. You can tell I can definitely multitask like a beast. So I started off with a 7.5. It was far too small. Moved up to that 8 in the which is the one I had when I started the channel. It was the element board, was an 8. I liked it. It was much better. Then I went up to an 8125, which was an anti-hero one I set up a little while ago. And then I moved up to the 825, and basically just as I've gone up, my main thoughts with sort of size of deck is there's 2 things I want quite clearly. One, I want to be able to flip it easy, and then I want it to be as big as I can get away with to give me as much room to stand on, which makes sense. I imagine it's what a lot of people want in a deck. So I've kind of just kept creeping up the size a little bit at a time, just to sort of see what I could get away with. And so yeah, that's why I sort of went for the 825. Yeah, it was really good. Really enjoyed it, and it's a good size. It flipped. I don't want to say it flipped the same as all the other ones. It didn't feel any different flipping from like the 8 or the 8125. So, which is what you want. So I've sort of, and then the bigger the board, supposedly the easier it is to catch your tricks. So I mean, I'm gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, it definitely felt a lot easier. It didn't feel more difficult. That's probably the key thing there. It took me way too long to get those out off of, but so yeah, that's I'm really happy with the 825. The board that I'm going to skate, which is just there, I'll show you in a minute, is an 825 as well. So I'm going to sort of stick with that size for now. I think in future I definitely want to try an 8.5. I really want to try and see how big a board I can go for, and still be able to flip it. Once I get to a size board where I can feel it's more difficult to flip, those things like my kick flips, my heel flips I'm struggling with. All the other tricks, I suppose, as I learn various other ones. But it's mainly that sort of kick flip and heel flip. I want a board as big as I can to make sure I've got plenty of space to catch it, and just sort of feel more comfortable riding it. That sounds a bit weird, because I am comfortable riding my board. It's not like I'm wobbling around on any size, but I don't know, I just feel like the bigger piece of wood you've got down below below your feet, dirty people, definitely is going to help. So yeah, so I'll definitely want to try an 8.5 in the future. But having said that, obviously as your board gets bigger, your truck size needs to adjust and adapt. It doesn't have to. It's not like You know, I've spoken to plenty of people that are like, oh no, you're fine. But for me, like, I want my trucks to match the width of my board, or at most be like one size under. So these trucks I've got at the moment, they're designed for an 825. So I wouldn't mind going up to like an 8.3 with this setup. That's what I had when I was riding the 8125. I had 8-inch trunks, and it was fine. But I'd rather have the same width trucks as my board. So yeah, obviously that just means that when I want to go to an 8.5, there's a slightly bigger, obviously, financial layout, because you've got to buy new trucks at the same time. So yeah, I mean, maybe later this year, maybe in the summer, or maybe towards the end of the year, I'll give that a try. It's definitely something I want to give it a go at some point. But at the moment, I'm super happy with this size. So I'm sort of going to stick with that for a little while. So yeah, let me know what you think. You know, let me know what size you ride, what size you've been thinking about riding. If you do ride a much bigger board, if you ride like an 8.5, or you know, something even bigger, an 8 or something, 8.8 or something, let me know what you think. But yeah, so I'll give you a quick talk about this deck, the Fortune Buddha board that I've been riding for the last, I think I've had this one I've been riding it for about 2 or 3 months, which is quite a while. I'm trying not to I could change my board every week. There's so many good graphics out there. I mean, like, even just as I get rid of this one, I'm already looking at, just getting the next one ready for when I finish riding that one, which I've not even rode yet. I could have 6 or 7 boards easily sitting in a cupboard waiting to ride, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to make them last. But so yeah, I've had this one for like 2 or 3 months. It's been really good. I really like it. You know, it's pretty durable. It's been pretty durable. You can see that the tail has started to razor down, and starting to, you know, crack and grind a bit in the middle here. That's from trying some board slides on something that shouldn't be board slid. But yeah, no, it's been a good deck. I'd definitely quite happily buy a Fortune again. I'm not really bothered about concave and things like that. What I mean by that is I'm not bothered. I'm trying really hard not to be bothered by things like that. I think it's a real minefield, like, in terms of like different size concaves and different, you know, nose and tail size. There's so much out there, and I really want to just ride the board that I think looks cool, and don't want to worry about that. I know I'm the sort of person that if I pay too much attention to that, I could definitely get into like, oh no, I have to have this certain concave, and that would restrict the types of boards I can ride. So yeah, I mean, like, so it was fine for me. It flipped fine. It did all the tricks I wanted it to do. As you can, I probably should have changed it about a month or so ago. It's kind of got soggy from skating when it's not been completely dry, which is just part of skating in the winter over here in the UK. But I wanted to hold on for a little bit longer, especially as I can't really go out and skate too many places at the moment. I think it'd be better to just try and make it last as long as I could before I swap to the new one. So yeah, good board. Really liked it. The graphic was amazing. But yeah, that's gone now. So yeah, let me show you the new one. I'm really excited about this one. So this is a Plan B Chris Joslin. It's called the Evolution series deck, and I love it. It's really, really nice. The reason I picked decks is pretty simple. There's 2 things that go into it. One is the graphic. It just, as long as the graphic is cool, that's good for me. And the second thing is the skater. I'm not so bothered about the brand. It's more just whether or not it has to have a sick graphic. That's the start. And then if it's a cool graphic that's in, you know, a pro model of a skater that I really like, then that's sort of like, that locks it in for me. And this one hits both of that. I mean, the graphic, it's got this sort of like ancient Egyptian sort of art style, and I love that. I'm a bit of I like my history a little bit, and you know, Egyptian culture and stuff like that has always been really fascinating, but their art style and just the way the designs look is awesome. So this one was really cool. And as far as like Chris Joslin, the guy's incredible. So if you've been following the channel for a little while, you know that I skated when I was younger, from sort of about 2004 to about 2007, 2008, and then got back into it end of 2019. So there's obviously like a huge gap where there's been a lot of new pros and things have changed in skateboarding massively. So when I got back into it, it was cool to see a lot of the pros that I'd always associated and I'd grown up watching still around, but there was this whole new wave of new ones that you sort of introduce yourself to and start watching their videos and stuff like that. And Chris Joslin was one of those ones. As soon as I started watching his clips, they absolutely blew my mind. The guy's incredible, just such a talented individual. And so yeah, you know, Joslin with this graphic was all over it, and never had a plan B deck before. They make cool decks, they've always had a good team and all that sort of thing. So yeah, that's why I picked this one. Like I said, it's an 825. I don't know if you can, it looks like it's got a slightly bigger nose and maybe a slightly smaller tail. I don't know, I'm not really that bothered, but looking forward to skating it. So yeah, that's that one. And the grip tape that I've got with it. Now when I was a kid, I only ever skated black grip tape, never anything else. Since I got back into skateboarding, I've been mucking around. There's so much more choice for a start. This is by far the hilarious grip tape I have ever got my hands on. It's this Grizzly, I think they called it floral or something like that. But for me, this is like way out the box. It's kind of funny. I usually try to be quite understated, but I saw this, I was like, yeah, I'm going for that. I have no idea whether it'll affect my skating or not. It shouldn't. I'm a firm believer that all of those little things like having to have certain size, this, that, the other, or colours and all that sort of thing is just mental things that you create for yourself. And I'm trying to really avoid that sort of thing. I used to, when I played sport, I was a bit of a one for that. Like I had to put my socks on a certain way, I had to lace my boots up a certain way and do this and that, the other. And I really tried to push that away, just because, with skateboarding, that's such a minefield. There's so many things you could go into. And I just wanted to just buy things I wanted and use it the way I wanted and not worry about silly things. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause the camera and grip the board and then come back to you. The reason, before I set the rest up, and I'll talk you through what the rest of my setup is. The reason I'm going to do that is this will only be the third time I've ever gripped a board. The previous 2 times it took me ages, and I figured you probably don't want to sit there for 5 minutes watching, like, even a sped up version of me trying to grip this board. So I'll get the grip on, I'll show you what it looks like, we'll get the rest of the setup done. So yeah, let's get going. Okay, so there you have it, all set up and gripped, ready to go. Oh, I went around that. That is Larry grip. I love it. That took me ages. Didn't realise I was talking 12 minutes the first time, so I'll try and keep this bit like slightly shorter, but it's easily going to be the longest video that's been on the channel for a good little while. So that was the front one. I was going to mark that up beforehand, so the front and the back, and then completely forgot. Just gives you an idea of how well my mind works. So yeah, as far as the rest of the setup, it's all pretty straightforward. I'll just talk you through it and then I'll end the video because, like I said, we've been dragging on a little while. So trucks, I'm still on the Indy 144 titanium hollows. Like I said last time, they're great. I'm considering when I go to an 8.5 whether to go and try a different truck company. I always use Indies, or whether just to stick with them. They are fantastic. I have changed one thing a little while ago, which is that I put in these Bones hardcore bushings. They are awesome. So the Indy ones, they take a little while to break in and they do split a little bit. I've never really had like loads of trouble with it in the past, but they were just taking a little while to wear in, and I was doing some research and I'd seen a lot of people recommending these Bones bushings, and the main benefit is they require no break-in time. You literally fit them, you tighten them, to taste, and you go. And I was like, well, I'm well up for trying that. So I bought them, and the first video I used them in was the Adrenaline Alley ledge video, where I was doing the 50/50s on that reasonable size ledge. So literally, the first thing I ever did after I installed them, I put them in, I tightened them to how I like them, and then when I jumped down something fairly big, for me anyway, it was big, and they did exactly what they said on the tin. They legitimately required no, there was no like break it, like normally if you, like when you got new bushings in, you jump off a curb and they bend and you have to go back and reset them. So these things are absolutely awesome. I would highly recommend them if you're getting new trucks, or if your trucks are just taking too long to break in. I think they're like 12 quid in good old British pounds. So I don't think they're going to set you much more in any other currency of your choice. Highly recommend them. I will definitely use them on every new set of trucks going forward. Wheels wise, we're still on the 56mm SPF formula bones. Yeah, they've been really good. Kind of think I might try something new soon with these ones. Maybe just go something a little bit smaller. I was initially going to get 54s and they just sent me 56s, and I was like, well, it doesn't really matter. I'll just sort of roll with it. So I'll drop the thing. Oh, I was just going easy, that one. Sorry about that, folks. So yeah, I mean, they're good wheels. They do what I need them to do. But yeah, I might just try something a little bit small, just for variation, maybe a 54 or a 53. But I think I'll probably wait until I can start going to skate parks and stuff like that again, because there's going to be no real benefit to swapping them at the moment. You know, if I'm riding car parks and stuff, the ground's quite rough, so having the bigger wheels is handy. The last bit of my setup is the bearings. So last time I set the board up, I had Andalay Day One Songs bearings. I've swapped them for some Bronson. I think they're G3, they're the Jamie Foy ones. So going again, like I said about skaters, like Jamie Foy's awesome, which, you know, I'd rather buy something with a guy's name on it, just because obviously it, you know, it's good for them. So the reason I swapped them, there's nothing wrong with I say nothing wrong with the Andalay ones. Basically, I went out and skated them in the wet a lot. It was in another video I was doing 50/50s, the 50/50 ledge video, and they just got too wet, and I didn't have the stuff to clean them. So I was like, well, I'm going to order it and clean them up. But the stuff to clean them was going to take as long as a new set of bearings, and I wanted to skate like the next time I could, so it would all just arrive like the day before I could go and skate, and I didn't want to go through the hassle. So I bought new bearings as well, which is shocking really. You should just you know, I will clean up the other ones, but it was just as easy just to buy new bearings and replace them and just carry on skating than it was to go through like learning. I've never cleaned bearings. It's not particularly hard. Jonathan Cook, shout out Jonathan, did a great video on it showcasing what it does. I'll leave that in the description below. So yeah, it's not like it was hard, it was easier to buy new bearings and replace the bearings, so I did that. It's a bit lazy, but I'm a bit like that, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, and the hardware is just still that shape jump one that I was using. It's hardware, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, but yeah, this is it. That's the last bolt in and ready to go. Thank you for watching. I guess I'll wait until I've screwed this one in. If you watched all the way to here, to the end, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. It's been a long old video. What are we at? We've been filming for another 6 minutes. There's going to be like 20 minutes nearly. It's like easily the longest video on my channel. So yeah, that wasn't the last bolt, there was another one. So yeah, that's it. Looking forward to skating this deck. You know, obviously we're still in lockdown here in the UK, so I'm still limited on places and things I can go to skate. It's going to be car parks and a little bit of my flat bar in the car parks. Me and Matt and Martin, who you will have seen on some of my videos, and Martin on his own channel, we've been talking about getting a box, or building a box, so hopefully you'll see that coming up soon, and at least I can try and learn some things other than flat ground tricks. But cool, that's it all done. My brand new Plan B Chris Joslin Evolution deck, looking really good. If it wasn't soaking wet outside, I'd take you outside for the first ollie, but yeah, super pleased with that. Like I said, if you've watched the end, thank you, I do appreciate it. This was fun to film. it might not be fun to watch. As always though, let me know down below in the comments any you know, any thoughts on the setup, any things, products you've used or stuff like that you really rate. You know, it's always good to chat to you guys down there. Drop us a thumbs up as well, that really helps out with getting the video out to some more people. And if you're new and you've watched this far, you probably should subscribe. My other videos are shorter and better. So yeah, take care everyone, and like I said, I'll see you on the next video, skating this bad boy. Take care.